Hello, my name is Lindsay Zachman. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which I talk about cross stitch and quilting. And we are just going to go for it and try a live video for the first time ever. Today is Friday, September 29th, 2023, and this is Flosstube episode number 27. And I'm glad to be with y'all today. I have a lot of cross stitch to show you, quilting finish to show you, and just talk to you about what's been going on. So let's just get right started. Last time I was here with y'all today, or last time I was here with y'all, I talked about missing fall, and I'm thankful to say that the weather has taken a turn a little bit cooler lately, so we're no longer in the hundreds or above what feels like 100 anymore, thankfully. So also the exciting thing is that I was able to go on a little vacation trip with my husband, a little getaway in the New England area. We visited Cape Cod in Massachusetts, and I have never been to Massachusetts before, so that was a great experience. We stayed in the town called Hyannis, and my husband was working for a little bit of the time, but not all of the time. So when he was working, I did a little bit of sightseeing by myself. First, I visited the sweet little town of Chatham and walked along the shoreline there, which was absolutely stunning, and then walked around downtown area. It was very quaint. I love the Cape Cod style homes, and the area was just, the weather was perfect while we were there. It was my form of perfect weather is when the sun is warm, but the breeze is cool. Just that combination is lovely. So something that was really amazing that I got to do while I was on vacation was visit the island of Nantucket. While my husband was working, I took a ferry over and I visited with one of my cousins that I haven't seen in several years. She owns a really nice shop there called Bodega. You should check it out online and in social media. She has home decor that's really nice there. So I walked around the downtown area of Nantucket, and then I caught up with my cousin, and we got to go in her car and around the island, which I would never have thought to do that because I thought just the downtown area was practically it. So we drove around and she took me to one of the other lighthouses that is red and white in Nantucket there. And we did something that's called a public walk, where you're literally walking along the coastline, but also in the backyards of a lot of the very adorable and beautiful, lovely homes there in Nantucket. So that was amazing in and of itself. And just to take in all the scenery, the weather was gorgeous. I want to just say that the Lord really was showing off and blessed me with such an amazing time there, especially that day. It was just so gorgeous, and I loved every minute of it. Of course, I miss being home with my daughters and my dogs, but it was a pleasant, lovely, much needed time away. I'm sure all moms can attest to returning in better spirits, and where you're constantly pouring out of yourself, but you need time sometimes to pour back into yourself. So I was grateful for that opportunity. So we also visited Maine. My husband's grandparents were originally from parts of Maine, so we visited areas that he had been to a long, long time ago when he was a little boy, so that was sweet time for him to sightsee and remember some of those sweet places. So we also got to visit his aunt and uncle in Maine and stayed at their home for a couple nights. And Maine also is just amazing. And I realized that we weren't there in the dead of winter, so I'm sure that I might have some other opinions on it, different seasons and times of the year, but I loved when we were there. And they live near a lake, and surprisingly, I expected the water to be much colder, but because the air was a little cooler, but I put my feet in and it wasn't that bad. I didn't want to go swimming really, but I was surprised. It was decent. So anyway, I flew back home this past Monday and flew home to one of the daughters sick with a cold, so I'm catching that cold already again. And the other daughter has unfortunately been not well for about a month now with something called mesenteric adenitis. I will explain that long, scary word, but basically it's an infection of the lymph nodes in your abdomen. probably caused by a virus, and it's been a month long, and it mimics appendicitis. So if you know anything about appendicitis, it's very painful. And so I pray and feel like we're starting to turn a corner finally a month into it. So I am taking her somewhere for lymphatic massages now that the swelling and the pain is coming down a little bit to try to get things healthier. So if you'll just join in with me in praying for a full recovery soon so she can get back to school and her job and, back to our regular lifestyle. So anyway, let's get into what I've been doing as far as my crafting goes. So last time I showed you a piece called Be Thankful, but I have it fully finished now on this cutting board. I'm trying to hold it without it falling apart, but this is a really sweet cutting board that I finished and just whipped it together, and it's interchangeable, and so I've got it on magnets so I can change it how often I want to, and I did not make the ribbons and rickrack permanent so that I can use the board other times for other seasons and different projects. But I really like this. This will be out to probably in all of fall or just Thanksgiving area. Well, I think I could have it out regularly for all of fall because of the pumpkins and then Thanksgiving. So, oh, hi, Jean. I see that you're here. You're taking me back to our last holiday to New England, staying a week near Hyannis and visiting Nantucket and a second week near Chatham. We loved visiting twice to Maine, one spent in Vermont and New Hampshire. Yes, it was amazing. I have been saying all of our Coast Guard career, which is going on almost 15 years in December, that I miss a change of seasons. So it was truly a gift. So I'm super blessed to have been there, and I want to go back. So I told my husband, I would really love to travel a little bit more. So I don't know if that's possible or likely, but I may put the little bug in his ear. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, moving right along. I also want to show you, that was my fully finish that I had to share today. But I had stitched Welcome Home by Priscilla and Chelsea of Stitching with the Housewives. Welcome Home Summer. Last time I was here, I didn't have like this side done, one of the sides anyway. And so I finished this. I have not fully finished it, and I'm probably going to put it aside for now. I don't know how I plan to fully finish it. But I did also win, thankfully, their Welcome Home Autumn design, which I'll show you in a little while. But that's a finish. And then I didn't have major plans, but I knew that I wanted to get stitching with some fall pieces. So I'm going to call it my fall ADHD stitching because it's kind of just jumped in and just started winging it and had fun. So let me show you what I got started. So one of the first ones I started was also a Stitching with the Housewives. This is the November month to month. I love the barn houses in the month to month series. I've done September and October. I'm not sure that I've done any more, but I started the November one using the called for DMC equivalent to the Classic Colorworks. And I'm using a white 28 count Lugana that I picked up. I think this is just from Hobby Lobby, just a very basic fabric. And I've got a very small start. And to be honest, I started this on one of our 4 emergency room trips with my daughter. So yeah, I'll probably think of that visit every time I pull out this piece and when it's finished. So this is going to be just a small start for November, the month design. And I'm going to show you some non-fall stitching now. So this is a piece from Hands-On Design, and there are several patterns on this paper, but I'm actually chose to do this rectangular one. It's by Kathy Haberman, and it's just a small start, but I'll share it nonetheless. The tomato in the corner, and I might put this piece on a project bag eventually if I feel like doing that, or maybe just a small frame and put it in my craft room. So I wanted to share that. And before we get into more fall, let me show you an update on my Country Cottage Needleworks Glitter Village. So this was the second house that I had been doing a while back. I've actually not touched this in a while, but the second house was this cute little pink house. And I had showed you last everything leading up to just needing to do the trees. So I did the trees, and afterwards I realized I wasn't supposed to use green, but I like it nonetheless, and it's not coming out. So I also went back to the blue house and did the straight line stitching on the rest of the tree pieces. So I am finished on houses 1 and 2 of 9. I'm not really in a rush to finish this, but I do love it. It's going to be a nice big piece when all 9 pieces are on there, but that's a fun stitch too. I'll probably get back to it in a little bit because I'm having a lot of fun with the fall pieces right now. So there's that. And then back to some fall. I have here my Stitching with the Housewives bag and charm. Whoops, that's in the wrong area here. Hold on. That went with my November month-to-month piece. So I'm going to stick that back over here. Anyway, next, Autumn Lane. I got this from my daughter, and a couple years ago, and I was very intimidated by it for quite a while, but I said it's time to get going on that because it's a gorgeous design. It's called Autumn Town. I joined the Autumn Lane's cross-stitching group on Facebook because the called for is a linen piece, and I have not cross-stitched on linen yet. I'm not that brave just yet. One day maybe. But anyway, I joined their group so that I could ask for a suggestion for a 28 count Lugana. It calls for 28 count linen called Apple Harvest by Mountain Air Fabrics, but someone was kind enough to show me their idea. So let me show you that. I am using all the called for colors. Most of them are DMC, but I do have a couple of weeks dye works. Let me just tell you what those are. Squash is this pretty yellow one, and molasses is this other blue, or I'm sorry, brown. So that's quite a lot of beautiful colors and threads. So it's going to be amazing when it's finished. So it was suggested to me to use Heritage by Picture This Plus, and I'll show them close together that it's a pretty good match if you look at the green in the background of the photo. And I do love the modeling on the fabric. So I've got a small start here that I have been using one of my Nurge hoops for. Really pretty pumpkin. I started in the bottom right corner of the pattern. So if you can see that there, that's where I've started. So this is not going to be a finish anytime soon, but I'll pick this up each fall season until it's finished, and love stitching it meanwhile. So Autumn Lane, you'll have to check out their patterns because that's gorgeous. That does remind me of upstate New York. And I do very much miss not just the seasons, but especially the fall colors of the leaves, the foliage. And when we were in New England, especially in Maine, the leaves had just barely started to change. So I saw a little tiny bit. I'll be grateful for what I saw. I did go back home to upstate New York several years ago for my grandmother's funeral, and that was the last time I was there and saw the colors were amazing. Maybe I'll share a picture on Instagram of the foliage from where I'm from, just to show you what I'm talking about. But moving on to one of my other fall pieces that I've been stitching, which has been quite addicting because I've been loving it. But it's this pattern by Little House Needleworks. The pictures are small, but it's very cute. It's the ABCs of Autumn. And I am using, let's see, it's a combination of Classic Colorworks and DMC. But the Classic Colorworks are Blue Corn, Fallen Leaves, Pumpkin Harvest, Roasted Chestnut, Sun-Kissed, and Weeping Willow. It makes a lovely combination. And I almost have a finish. So I'm going to hold it up back here first. It's really pretty, but now I'm going to put it on the board so you can see it a little better and closer. So here we have autumn ABCs, and look at the variegation in the house. I hope that that shows up because I don't have a lot of experience actually using the hand dyed threads, but I'm starting to a little bit more, and I'm really liking it. So I also love the colors of that quilt block right there, like out on the laundry line outside to dry. Then we get some really sweet pumpkins, and the scarecrow is adorable. I love him. He's very cute. And I've just got a couple of flowers to do in here, and then I'll have a fully finished. So I'm excited about that. He's really cute. Mimi, I love him. So yes, that has been the piece that I've been most addicted to, and obviously have the most stitching done. So those are what I have stuff to show you today. There's one more pattern that I stuck in this bag that I thought maybe I'd get to, but I haven't yet, but it's this Bent Creek Harvest one, so I'm going to hold on to that one for now. All right, I showed you before in the past, but I want to show you a little more ideas that I have here, and then we'll get into haul. So I told you that I won the Welcome Home Autumn or Fall from Stitching by the Housewives. So I'm going to save this for next season. It's beautiful. And let's see. I got a couple of patterns off of one of the Facebook D-Stash groups. Brenda Gervais. This is Faith of the Heart, and it says, God finds a low branch for the bird that cannot fly. I love that. It's very pretty. I hope the lighting's good. And Holiday Hoopla Christmas by Brenda Gervais. A sweet little snowman. I almost called him Santa Claus because he's got that hat on. Excuse me. And then before I showed you the Autumn Quaker by Primrose Cottage, which is gorgeous. And I wanted to use the called for color and cotton floss, but it had been out of stock for a while. But I got an email while I was on vacation that they were back in stock. So I jumped online and I picked up two of those, which are pumpkin pie. Let me show you on the board here. Pumpkin pie. Look at the different colors, the variegation of the thread. If you can't see it, you'll need to go in their store, but it's gorgeous. And since I was there, I said, you know, I don't want to just pay for two for the shipping. So I said, let me just look around and get some others. So I'll show you those. Let's see here. The first one is baby carrots. Oh, baby carrots. And then I've got a sweet little yellow called Baby Chick. And then an emerald green. This will be nice for some Christmas stitching. And a Valor red. And then we're moving into some of my favorite colors are the blues. So look at the variegation of the blue in the Arctic. You can see all that. It's gorgeous. And then two more. Shining Sea is very pretty as well. And then my last and probably my favorite is called Abyss. Let me just show you that by itself. I love teal, and this is beautiful. So I have a nice small start of some color and cotton floss to play with. So it's very beautiful. I'm happy to give it a try soon. So yes. I have some other goodies that I found from Home Goods. I like to go there when I go to Costco. It's near Costco, and I'll be just got to stroll through for a minute. So these little frames I found for fall, I thought they would be a really cute idea to finish some small cross stitch pieces with. And I currently have them on my mantle with some other fall pumpkin decor. But let me show you what I have. I haven't decided fully what to put into them yet, but here's my ideas. Either the latest Lori Holt stitch card set or So we've got some options. We've got a pretty sunflower. My words are disappearing. Crow. A pretty pumpkin. This one's upside down. The last one is the super cute scarecrow, which I might make him smile. I don't do scary Halloween. I do fall. Or my other thought is to do one of the autumn petites from the Little House Needleworks. Let me pull that out of there so you can see it better. Autumn petites. There's 4 cute little patterns. So I need to actually sit down and do like the measurements of if they'll fit in there well or not. So those are options also. So I love these. They were $6 a piece. You might go check it out at Home Goods, see if you can find some. The brand is called Sheffield Home. This one has back to sit, and this one doesn't, but they sit nicely on my mantle. All right, moving on to some things that I've received recently, as well as some ideas for Christmas and winter stitching. So I did receive that Lori Holt set R of the cross stitch patterns, and as well as I'm in the Fat Quarter Club. Yep, by Lori Holt. This is my 3rd one, I believe. So I've not done anything with these fabrics yet. However, I'm pretty sure Fat Quarter Shop or Lori Holt will come up with some sort of a stitch along, so I'm just tucking them away for now. And these are the different fabrics that are in there. Well, hi, Carolina Stitchers. It's nice to see you on here too. All right, so when I was in New England, I visited, of course, I had to Google cross stitch and quilt shops when I was up there, and I visited a nice shop called Tumbleweed Quilts and checked out all their inventory. I could have stayed much longer, but I didn't. But I did pick up Lighthearted by Camille Ross Kelly. I got a layer cake. Whoops. There we go. She's one of my favorite designers. Her and her mom used to be Thimble Blossoms fabric together, but now it's just the daughter out on her own. But this fabric is very sweet. You can check it out closer online. It's kind of hard to show you on here, but it's really sweet. It makes me think of spring and Valentine's all at the same time. So I'm going to tuck that away too. No idea what I'll do with it, but it's going into my fabric stash. And then I also have just a couple of winter/Christmas designs that I've kitted up. Don't let me forget the quilt I need to show you behind me. So I have a couple of these portfolios that I have from Chris Sherman, otherwise known as Winding Rainbows. And inside here I have winter seasonal samplings by Primrose Cottage. I have all of the floss in there, ready to go. And the called for, it's 28 count light ash gray, as well as the floss is all DMC. So that's really cute. I've got that kitted up if and when I'm ready to stitch some winter. And in this one, I have Joy and Good Cheer from Brenda Gervais. She's one of my favorites also. And I've got my 28 count Lugana cut to size, and then I ran it through my very basic sewing machine that has the zigzag stitch on it so that it doesn't fray. And the threads are in there as well. So I love these portfolios. They're nice and sturdy and thick. And when I was traveling, I had a backpack that I was wearing in the airport, and as I went out and around, because I don't want to leave my cross stitch behind. You never know when you want to pull it out and start stitching on it. So those are the 2 that I have kitted up. Let's see, I'm making a pumpkin pie for my husband's birthday next week using puree. I froze last year. That's awesome, as he spent autumn in Oklahoma when he was, I don't know what the RAF is. So every year we get a pumpkin now. That's awesome. You'll have to tell me what the RAF was. I'm interested in that. So I my favorite pie growing up was pumpkin pie. As a child, I did not like apple pies, but I do now. My taste buds have changed and matured a little bit. Let's see if I had anything else. Oh, yes, the quilt. So I'm going to walk around the back so you can see it a little better. Just give me a second. So I have this quilt top laying around finished for probably at least a year. And I have some other quilt projects that I want to get to. So I don't want to just keep making quilt tops and not actually finish them. So I said, well, you better get that going. So this is the line Sunday Stroll from Camille Ross Kelly. I love it. That was the lighthearted layer cake design that I showed you earlier. But this is a nice throw lap size, and the backing is strawberries, if you can see that. So I have a 6-needle Baby Lock brand embroidery machine. I was talking about that last video. I used to have an Etsy shop open where I made mostly children's holiday, birthday kind of apparel with appliques or monograms, but I closed my Etsy shop down when I started homeschooling because I couldn't do all of it well. So, but I still have my embroidery machine, and how I quilted this was using my embroidery machine. So I have a large magnetic hoop from Mighty Hoop that I literally just take the quilt sandwich, which is what I refer to as the top piece and the binding and the backing, and I hoop it, and I'll start in a corner, and I use a pattern from Designs by Juju is a website, and it's like a one, I don't remember what they refer to them as, but it's to quilt using your embroidery machine, and you only use one color. And so it's just continually doing this pattern around the hoop until it finishes. And then you unhoop it and move it the next spot over. You just line it up. So like, this is not professionally done, but I love how it turned out, and I think it turned out really good. I used I'll come around again. I love the orange peel fabric or the quilting lines that people do. So I found something that was very similar. Can you see it? I hope so. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the compliments. I love it. I won't show you the mistakes because obviously it doesn't matter, but it's good enough for me. I love it. And then I followed the Fat Quarter Shop's quilting series that is for beginners. If you want to learn to quilt, those videos are what you should check out because it is very informative, very well made, nice, and like the stitching video is really close, so you can really get in there and see what they're actually doing. And so I watched that to learn how to put a binding on, where you use your sewing machine to sew it to the back first, and then you iron it and flip it over. And I used just my hands and a needle to sew the binding on by hand. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So it's beautiful. I love it. It's obviously not seasonal right now, but that's okay. So I have some fall quilts, just small ones from a panel that I would like to do. But let's see. Royal Air Force. Oh my goodness. So does that mean you're from overseas then? I have to assume. I'm not sure. Thank you very much. But I went to the festival. Oh yeah, you are in the United Kingdom. Awesome. That's so exciting. I'm so glad to see you here. Thank you so much for your compliments. Recently finished up a lap quilt in blues for my cousin's 70th birthday. I bet you it's amazing. Teal is my absolute favorite color. But anyway, before I log off, thank you for joining me. I had tried to film a video on my laptop, and it was telling me there was no more space. And I was like, so I'm just winging this live thing, and I hope that it came out well. I hope the lighting's not terrible, and thank you for playing along. But I just still wanted to talk about one thing before I logged off, and that is something that I hold very near and dear to my heart. It's called Bible Study Fellowship. So if you are a Christian or a believer, or not, and maybe you've never read the Bible before, but you're interested, Bible Study Fellowship is worldwide. It's not non-denominational, it's interdenominational. So it's open to anyone and everyone. And it's an in-depth Bible study that no matter what your Bible knowledge, you can come to it. I started it with little to no Bible knowledge, honestly. I was involved with it for about 7 years. And then in homeschooling years, I kind of fell off the bandwagon for a while, just due to other responsibilities. And I got back involved into it going on probably close to 2 years now, living here in Alabama. And it is like a Bible study like no other. I tell people, why study a book about the Bible when you can literally study the Bible? So right now we're studying the book of John, and we go verse by verse. And the great thing is, especially for a military spouse, is that no matter where you live, or at least from my experience, no matter where we've moved, I've been able to get right back involved. And we're all studying the same thing at the same time all around the world. And depending upon where you live, there may be different styles and types of classes. For example, my husband is going to an evening class, and I'm also going to an evening class. So a women's evening and a men's evening. The women's evening class here offers a student program. So the students, I believe, first grade through senior grade, are also studying the same exact thing, which I think is an awesome thing as a family to then be able to talk about it, what you're learning. But sometimes there's classes for young adults, depending on your area. Sometimes there's women daytime with preschool programs. So if you have infants and toddlers, and my girls have all three of them have been involved with Bible study fellowship in one form or another during our years with the Coast Guard moving around. So I I didn't grow up going to church until my parents were divorced and my mom got remarried. And that's when we started going to church. And I considered myself a believer. And I literally have this ingrained memory in my early adult years telling someone, yes, I'm a believer, but I'm not very religious. And it's almost like the Lord has had that ingrained in my memory to be like, yeah, well, we're going to do something about that. So it's not, but I also want to say it's not about being religious. To me, it's more about being in a relationship with Jesus. So it's through Bible study fellowship that my life, and my total view on life has totally changed because of studying the Bible. So it's not about religion, it's about relationship. And if you're interested in a relationship with Jesus and having him completely open your eyes, I really can't suggest and encourage you enough to give Bible study fellowship a try, no matter what walk of life you're on. We all have some struggles and challenges to go through in life, but it's through those struggles and it's through Bible study fellowship that I have grown to know the Lord. And it's my faith that keeps me going every day. Honestly, I can't imagine walking this life, especially the current condition of our world, without a personal relationship. So I just wanted to share Bible Study Fellowship with you. Check it out on BibleStudyFellowship.org if you're interested. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask or comment. So that's all I have for today. I hope to be back again sooner than later, but as you know, life gets in the way of that sometimes. But I'm happy to be here with you all today, and I hope that you've enjoyed this. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe and like so you know when the next video will be, and maybe I'll do another live, who knows. But thanks for joining me. Y'all take care. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.